Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I have a product review for you of the ASTRO A50 headsets. These are the wireless headset of the ASTRO brand, and these are the ones that you most frequently see me using with the PlayStation 4. I feel that these are a little bit more PlayStation 4 centric than the other headsets, so I'm going to focus on the review today from that perspective, but we're also going to be talking about Xbox One. I'm going to cover all of the features, and there is a link to the ASTRO website down there in the description. And this month, you're in luck, there is a 10% off sale on literally every single thing on the entire site. So if you're interested, now is probably the best time of the entire year. Sure, you don't want to hear me blab anymore. Let's talk about these beautiful headsets. After you're done unboxing the product, throwing away the manuals, and hooking up all your cables, you're left with essentially three pieces. We have a stand, we have the wireless mix amp itself, and then the wireless headsets themselves. They all do different things. Let's start with the headsets. The headsets themselves are very similar to the other headsets, the A40s, the A38s. All the ASTRO headsets have the same basic design, stretchiness principles. Some of the things you'll notice right off the bat on the A50s is that this is made of a metal, no longer plastic right here, and our cabling has slightly thicker wires and protection on the side. Of course, this is adjustable if you have a small head or if you're like me and you have a slightly bigger head. Branding on the top, you will also notice that the microphone, while functional and bendable and normal like everything else, is not detachable on the A50s. You do not have the option to take the microphone off or change the microphone sides because most of the controls are here on the side of the headset. It's reasonably stretchy, should fit any head. On the inside of it, you will see that the ears are nice and squishy padded, a little bit of sound canceling there. It feels pretty nice. And on the underside, this is where we're coming to one of the first flaws. If I'll spread it apart, not a pun right there. The squishy part right here is supposed to rest on the top of your head, but as you'll see, there's some indentations in it. That's because if you leave it resting on the stand, it has a tendency to smush the foam kind of flat, which it's not a problem if you let it sit just kind of laying it down on the table. But if you leave it on the stand too long, you can kind of ruin some of your cushioning right there, which is a downside, but the stand is kind of cool. I don't know. We'll move on to the features, like the technological parts of the headset next. If you want to change your volume mid-game and you don't want to do it through the game menus, you have options here on the side. So your mix amp is kind of built into your headset in a way. You can move the game voice up and down ever so slightly here on the sides. It's like on the other side we have the game volume, which is how much chat is going into your headset. You can move this up and down as well. These adjust independently, so you can set the mix however you want it, and they'll do different things when you plug into your PC too if you want PC audio. You will also notice on the bottom of this same side we have a slider here. This is the master volume slider, so if you just want all volume up, you do this, all volume down, you do that. Pretty straightforward and simple. Once I set it, it's kind of set and forget. I get it where I like it and then I don't worry about it. On the tiniest inside of this ear, we're going to zoom in to show you this a little bit right here. On the sides, you will see we have a power button, which I'm going to press and try and turn these headsets on, even though I can't see it right now. Yep, when the light comes on, that means they're on. And you'll see that we have settings 1, 2, and 3. These are different equalizer settings. These are different sound settings. You can change them to whichever ones you like, or mix settings. I personally like number 1, so that's where I leave it. And I'm gonna turn this off so it doesn't waste any battery. So you have most of the controls that you need here on the side of the headset. And you will also notice on the bottom down here, on the other side, actually I almost goofed this up, we have a port for the controller and we have a USB port. Now the USB port is what will provide power to the headset once the batteries run out. You do have to recharge it, and this one is mostly for Xbox One. We'll talk about that in a second though. One thing I almost forgot, that is one of the downsides to these headsets, is that since we have controls on this side and since we have settings on the other side, that these speaker tags are not interchangeable. Unlike the A40s and something like the A38s and some of those, you can't pop these speaker tags off and make them decorative. When you get the A50s, you get these speaker tags, and these are here to stay forever. I have never gamed long enough on this headset to drain the entire battery. I found the overall battery life to be very long. I'm just going purely from memory here. I want to say it was like 20 hours written down. I haven't charged these in probably 2 or 3 weeks, and they're still working just fine. It just depends on how much you use them. Overall levels of comfort are high, audio quality is high, all of the quality for audio for ASTRO headsets are high. The boom microphone here, I've actually put them on backwards because I'm a genius. That's how very rarely I use the boom microphone. They're labeled on the inside, left and right. I've never used this microphone to record audio for commentaries or to stream, so I don't know how that works. I always have like a fancy condenser mic, but I have used it for in-game chat. For in-game chat, of course, it works fine. It's a little bit on the quieter end because it's built for tournaments where there's like people all beside you and you're all screaming, so it's very much so on the quiet end so that you don't pick up a lot of background noise. So you might have to talk a little bit louder than normal if you want to do commentary on this one. This little device right here is the ASTRO A50 wireless mix amp. You have to have this in order to make this work with your console or computer or whatever you plan to use it on. And it's kind of like the Mixamp Pro, except of course wireless to the headset, and a few less mixing options. It's small, it's very, very lightweight. We have a rubbery bottom so that it doesn't slip around. Options on it are fairly limited: on and then your headset mode, and that's pretty much it. We have plugs on the back. Now these plugs are important. We're making clever use of the stand right now. I want you to take note of the ports on the back. The regular looking USB port, that's the one that will recharge the batteries on your headsets, which is on this side over here, getting indications from my wife as to where things are. You need that to charge your headsets, and I want to make a distinction that there is a USB power for this one, and then there's a different USB power source that powers the A50. You cannot power it from this one over here. You have a completely different PWR source that has to be plugged in that powers this. And that one typically plugs into your console, which will be a PlayStation 4 in this case, or Xbox One, or your computer, or whatever powers it, and that is how you use voice chat with your microphone here. The microphone goes through the USB because you can plug anything in the PS4 and just use it USB, and that's kind of how that works. Xbox One is a little bit more complicated. You have to make use of these plugs in the side and plug it directly into the controller to get the microphone audio to the controller. You'll also notice that we have an option for auxiliary audio if you want to use that, and we have optical in and optical out. Those are two different, it's called optical, but it's audio cable, confusing labeling right there. And of course, if you want to run an alternative setup, if you want to plug the USB into your computer and you want to use the microphone here to record audio to the computer, that's fine, or get computer audio out to the headsets, that's fine. It can plug into just about anything that's USB, and you can take optical, all sorts of different things. Totally wouldn't worry about it. I know it sounds complicated, but once you get your setup, it's going to be like me. You're going to set it up and totally forget about it. And it's kind of nice, just a tiny little device, easier to pack than the other mix amp. But let's move on to the final piece today, and that is the stand. The stand, bom, bom, bom. Kind of a small thing, just ultimately it's a cleverly shaped piece of plastic. What you would do is you put your stand down, and then you can take your A50 mix amp right here. My wife is adjusting the focus. I hope you enjoy all these artistic shots. We can put the mix amp right here in the stand. It has a small cradle for it, anti-slip here, and the stand itself is also anti-slip. And then it's designed for you to be able to just hang your headsets right here on the top so that you can keep all the cabling and stuff in one confined little area. And it's got enough space for you to charge here, for go to the console. You can put it on top of the console, whatever you need. And it's a really nice, convenient thing. One downside though is that the weight of the headsets pulls down on this top pad, and as you can see, the top pad loses some of its fluffiness, which I do believe is a downside. So oftentimes you'll see my headsets just kind of sitting like this, kind of like a lazy man. But sometimes I like to hang them up and, you know, make them look cool. So, final thoughts on the ASTRO A50s. I think they're fantastic for PlayStation 4. Once you get them set up right, they're very easy to use, and they're truly wireless on that. All you need is this headset on your head and you're good to go. I'll go ahead and put these on for the review. If you're doing Xbox One, unfortunately, it's a little bit less wireless. You don't have to have all this, connected to the headset, but you do have to connect the headset to the controller. I think the audio quality is good. The overall comfort levels are good. And the drawbacks are that this is not really a commentary mic. This is a voice chat mic. You cannot change the speaker tags at all. They're kind of stuck on what they are. And my minor gripe is that the top of the stand here does dent my headrest. And I believe my head isn't well cushioned enough by this fabulous hair and needs just a little bit of extra rest. And that is the A50 review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel. And if you're interested in the A50s or any Astro products, I have a link down there in the description that'll give you 10% off of everything. Drifter out.